Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we are doing the 20 questions book tag. I was watching Jack in the Books today and he did this tag. It's from ZZ with Books, their blog. And I will link it down in the description below because I had a hard time finding it. I want to talk more about books on this channel other than just showing you like book hauls and my TBRs and stuff. I just filmed a Get Ready With Me where I talked for 20 minutes about Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? So go check that out if that's up. Yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you like bookish content and let's hop in. I'm so excited to do this. Also, this microphone is so fake, but I love watching people like play with the microphones and stuff, so I'm gonna be using this today for my own entertainment. So question 1, how many books is too many books in a series? And I'm gonna say any more than 6. I think that when you have any more than 6 in any given series, you kind of have 2 very distinct kind of arcs, because you have to have so much going on. And how many books is Throne of Glass? I'm not quite sure how many books Throne of Glass is, but I've heard that it's great, and there are always exceptions to the rule. Like Harry Potter has 7 books, but like you follow these kids from like 11 to 18, so that's kind of like different. What are the book? Oh, part of the reason why I say 6 is because I grew up reading the Warrior Cats books by Aaron Hunter. We think about it like a TV show. You have like the entire series and then you have different seasons. So if each set is a season, each kind of grouping of books is 6 books. And granted, they are children's books, they're only around 200 pages each, but I found that to be like so fun because it wasn't too long, but it wasn't too short, and like that series is massive. But because that's at what point are you just kind of like dragging on and on and on, or recycling plot lines, or you know, if it's a romance book, like what. I also think that interconnected standalones, that's completely different. Like, an interconnected standalone, if we're talking about different characters every single time, as long as you want. As long as the author's little heart can, like, as long as their little heart wants it. Alright, question 2. How do you feel about cliffhangers? I hate them unless I readily available have the next, like, book in a series. Which is kind of like a cop-out answer. I don't mind them, because I feel like the anticipation of a cliffhanger is really fun. I like endings that like make you think, like the end of The Giver, or like the end of Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood was really good. The end of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood was really good. Like endings that kind of make you think, even though I know that I feel like the way that books are right now and the trends of books right now, people want things wrapped up in a pretty little bow because we don't like the unknown. And that's very valid. Like, I know that there are definitely times where like I want that. Like in a romance book, you want to see the couple, like the epilogues in them, it's always like, oh, they're married or they're doing so good. Yeah, you want to see that. But in like, let's say literary fiction, if it is a book that asks a lot of questions, an ambiguous ending or cliffhanger, if you want to call it that, makes sense. Hardback or paperback? Paperback. All the way. I love a good beaten up paperback, especially if it's got like a little water damage on it. Hardbacks are just so heavy, and I crochet all the time, so like my wrists are already like hurting a lot, so they're just so weak and it's hard to like hold them. I was watching people reading the new Sarah J Maas book, and obviously it's only out in hardback right now, and people are like, I'm buying the ebook because I don't want to sit here and hold this ginormous hardback. Favorite book? I have a couple. Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. It's a children's fiction book about this little boy and his 2 dogs. So if you can fill in the gaps there. As an adult, my favorite book is Sally Rooney's Normal People. So my least favorite book, I don't know if this is a cop-out, but I'm gonna do one from high school because I still talk about how much I hated this book. It's Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, and I think if I read it today, okay, here's the thing. I think that book is too long. That book is so long. For what? I think if I read it today, I would have very different thought processes on it, because the whole point of the book is you can try as hard as you want, but if you are not good, like, you will never be good enough for someone who does not want you. And that is a great message. As an insecure and vulnerable teenager, that was pretty hard to read. And I was so committed to reading that book. I kept reading it even after, like, the unit was finished, because I was so hellbent on finishing this book. So that was one from high school. One from real life now is The Mister, I believe it's called, by E.L. James. It's the first in the Mr. and Mrs. series, and now there's like the second book, which is called The Mrs. I found that book to be weirdly, grossly fetishizing and infantilizing. I did read the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. I liked the books for the most part. I don't know. It'd be interesting to read them now, because I read them when I was like 19. I thought that The Mister was really gross. It's about a guy who falls in love with this cleaning lady who is running away from, like, trafficking in Romania. And at one point in the book, he's like, I could see her pink granny panties through her very thin white dress, or something like that. And it was just, like, so gross and weirdly, like, fetishizy, savior complex. Like, if you want to read about a man who takes care of you, like, we got so many better options out there. The most recent book you just couldn't finish. So, my first DNF of 2024 was actually Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I couldn't finish this book for my own personal reasons. It's interesting that it has such a high rating on Goodreads. I got around 70 pages into the book, and I kind of knew what happened. It's a romance book, it's pretty easy to tell, but somebody had mentioned that, like, there isn't a ton of personal growth within the main male character. And the main male character is, like, a raging alcoholic. And they show right in the beginning of the book him and this girl, because it's a second chance romance, him and this girl having their falling out. He is like, I'm so angry, I'm leaving you, we're done. And so she's like, fine, then I never want to see you again. And he's like, she said she never wanted to see me again. Duh. And as someone who just kind of came out of a relationship with someone who had a lot of alcohol problems, it was just really triggering. And the whole point of the book is basically like, love will cure his alcoholism, which is not true. That is not true, and I think that is a very dangerous sentiment to, like, put into a book. And so I just, like, there could be so much more nuance, but, like, I know for my own sanity and mental health, I could not finish that book. Love triangles, yes or no? I'm gonna say yes. But see, I don't like love triangles where you can just tell who the main person is going to pick. I also really like love triangles where it's, like, two guys over one girl. See, I don't think Twilight was a good enough love triangle, because we always knew she was gonna end up with Edward. We always knew that. So it doesn't seem, I don't know, I like love triangles when you truly can't tell who they're going to pick. Alright, next question. A book you're currently reading. I can't not read like 4 or 5 books at once. So right now I'm reading Powerless, which is Chestnut Springs #3 by Elsie Silver. I'm only about 20 pages into that. I'm almost done with The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. The last book I recommended to someone was Flawless by Elsie Silver in the Chestnut Spring series. I have a friend out here who was talking about, like, Kindle Unlimited books, and I was like, oh, this entire series is on Kindle Unlimited. I've really liked the first 2 books. I'm excited to finish it. Like, you should check it out. The oldest book you've read by publication date. I want to say Frankenstein. It would either be Frankenstein or Great Expectation. The newest book you've read by publication date. I need to read some old books. And it's so hard because it's kind of like music. Like, if it came out last year, it's old. Okay, so it doesn't tell me exactly when the publication date was. Love from Cold World by Alicia Thompson. And then Done and Dusted, Rebel Blue Ranch #1 by Lila Sage seem to be the 2 that are the most recently published that I've read. And I read those both last year. Favorite author? Oh no. What kind of question is that? This might be a cop-out, but like Sally Rooney, I've loved both of her books that I've read by her. I'm trying to think if I've read a lot of a different author. I like Sarah J Maas, but I wouldn't consider her like my all-time favorite author. It's interesting because like I know authors that I think I'm going to like, but like obviously I guess I could say Erin Hunter, but it's funny because like it's not even just one person who writes those books. When I was reading them, it was 4 people, and now I think it's like near 20. It's like a collaborative kind of book series. Erin Hunter is a pen name that they write under. Buying books or borrowing books? I love buying books. I've loved buying books like my entire life, but I will say borrowing books is so much more efficient. I love my online library. I listen to audiobooks like all the time. I would say that a lot of books that I've read I would not have read in a physical copy, which sounds weird. For example, I read Ash Princess series, and I know for a fact that I would not have read those. I would have gotten bored really quickly had I not been listening to them. And I think the thing with audiobooks is you can kind of just keep listening. I mean, obviously there are audiobooks that I DNF, but like you can just kind of keep going and go through the parts that are a little bit more stale. So I really love borrowing books from the library, but I also love buying books. But if I had to choose one, I think I would say buying books, just because like I love having a whole ass library. A book that you dislike that everyone else seems to love. Oh gosh. Alright, so this is the one I'm gonna do. So Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly by Anthony Bourdain. I listened to the audiobook of this one, so it is read by him. It has a 4.15 star rating on Goodreads, and I gave it a 2-star rating. I personally just like didn't connect with the book. I felt like Anthony Bourdain really was kind of complaining a lot, and it came off as very like self-righteous in some ways. Gosh, I read that a long time ago, but I just like, it just wasn't for me. And I know that some people are like, oh, I don't rate memoirs because how can you put a star rating on somebody's life? I think it's not so much putting a star rating on somebody's life as it is rating someone's writing and their ability to tell stories. And one thing you need to understand about a lot of celebrity memoirs in particular is they're a lot of times ghostwritten. And I read a lot of celebrity memoirs. I do like them. I like celebrity memoirs a lot, but that doesn't mean that every single one is like the most amazing. Bookmarks or dog ears? Both. I am someone, anything can be a bookmark, like a pen, a makeup brush if I find one, anything is a bookmark. I also dog ear a page, but I only dog ear books that are secondhand, unless I've accidentally like marked up my book in some way. It will be, I don't dog ear books that are like in a pristine condition. They gotta have a little bit of love first, and then it's like, oh yeah, let me dog ear that. A book you can always reread. I'm gonna cop out again. The Warrior series by Erin Hunter. I am 26 years old, and when I tell you that these books still bring me so much joy. I have a bookshelf that's just around the corner here in like my doorway, I guess we can call it. And it's almost an entire bookshelf of Warrior Cats books, and someday I will own them all, and they just keep coming out with more. I don't know what it is. I think that's what really sparked my love for cats. I don't know. There's action, there's a little bit of romance, there's friendships and family, and like just everything about these books I love. And I don't know. It's just a good time. Can you read while hearing music? No. But I do like to have a visual stimulus. Like, here's my TV. I'll put on an ambience, turn the volume down to 0, and then I'll just like read my book for hours. If I'm in public, a coffee shop, I can read when like that because it's so much dimmer, or like, and it's almost like white noise. But if it is just straight like music and me trying to read, no. One or multiple POVs. I like multiple if it's a romance book, but for the most part, once you get more than like 3, I'd say it gets really confusing. You read a book in one sitting or over multiple days. Almost always over multiple days, because I have this thing where like I'll read a chunk of a book, and if I think that the plot is getting too thick for whatever reason, I have to put the book down and start a new one. And isn't that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? I don't know why. I just like, some books I can binge in a day, absolutely. Like a fun romance book, oh yeah, give it to me. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I ate that. I ate it. But like Elsie Silver books, for example, I love them. Like Flawless and Careless, so good. But I read them over multiple days because I was like, oh, I want to like savor this. Like it's so good. I haven't read such a good romance in so long. So yeah, most of the time it's over multiple days unless I'm like laser focused in. A book you've read because of the cover. Ooh. A book I read because of the cover. Everyone's an Ailey Bin When You're an Ailey Bin Too by Jimmy Sun. Literally just the cutest little graphic novel you ever did see. I found it at the library. It just, here's what the cover looks like. I gave it 5 stars. Just so fun. That I read in one sitting. And that is everything I have for you today. Gosh, that was so fun. Just chatty, chatty, chatty. I want to do more of these. That's a little bit more about like me and my reading journey and things that I like to read. I just had so much fun doing this. I would love to do another one. I want to do kind of like a more get to know me on a personal level one soon where I can just kind of like talk more about me. But talking about books is one of my favorite things in this little life that I have, and so I'm so glad that I get to share it with you guys. Don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you're reading down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I would love to have you in our little community. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.